an Empress, and I feel like this would be you if this is your reading. We have at least one person who has kind of expected to hear at some point a story of your success. So this would be like a parent or a grandparent, maybe it's a sibling, maybe it's a spouse. But we've got someone who's believed in your skills, believed in your strategy or your brand, maybe just believed in your ability to complete a certification or an education program. But this is someone who's admiring you for sticking with it and expecting, or almost like they're not surprised when you do well because they feel like you've put in everything that you could. Hello, Key Controller. How you doing? Let's call in spirit with a little bit of wind chime time. And I hope you're having a wonderful day. If you're interested in a personal reading, I would love to do one for you. My email address is wickedwandstarot@gmail.com. It's in the description box, along with more information on how to become a member, as well as how to find my candles on Etsy. Let's dive in. I think we're going to start with, we're going to go with the Weird Cat Tarot. Hello, Poseidon. How you doing? Hello, Hannah. I hope you're having a good day, too. What else do we have? Happy Friday Eve. Starting to think I'm going to get, like, some allergies or something. Hello, Renee. How are you doing? So we have the Knight of Swords in the reverse and the Two of Pentacles in the reverse. There is a period of difficulty or a setback, probably financial, but it could also be emotional, right? Having to rebuild your life after a relationship ends, or feeling like you don't really align with your family, so you have to go your own way. We have someone who seems to be coming through as, like, I had to do this myself. I couldn't just, like, ask somebody to make it happen for me. So whoever this is admiring you, they feel like you are in the process of, or you have built something after making a difficult decision, after choosing what makes sense for you. They feel like you did not get stuck whining about what happened or how things turned out, because there was a sense of disappointment, whether it was a relationship that didn't work out or a job didn't work out. Maybe you have to go no contact with someone in your family, but this person who cares about you is looking at you and thinking, I always knew you were going to be able to figure out what you needed to do, or I always had confidence that you would choose the right thing. Hello, Lemonade. Hello, Tiana. How are we doing? I hope you're having a good day. We have the Page of Wands and the Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. So there's good news that is going to address whatever this sense of loss is. Yeah, it's been difficult, or it's been, you know, you've had to work 2 jobs just to stay afloat, but whatever you've done, it's like you get this confirmation that it is going to have a positive impact. You might be getting a new job offer, a promotion. You might have some positive change in the romantic quadrant of your life. But there are people who have been rooting for you, one in particular who is quite proud of you. What else do we have? Oh, I'm sorry you don't like my job of choice sandwich, but I hope that you have plenty of sandwiches to keep you busy so that you can make better use of your time. The Chariot, the Ten of Wands, and Judgment. So you made a choice. It may not have been what everybody else would have chosen, or you may have signed yourself up for, you know, going to school while you're also working a full-time job, but you're making it work. For some of you, this is someone who's admiring you in part because you've been able to manage the things in your life that have gone a little bit crazy, and also maintain a healthy relationship with your child or children. So they might be admiring your parenting skills as well. The Empress, after all, can be a reference to a mother. Doesn't have to be. We've got the Two of Swords in the reverse and the Ace of Swords. So there's some news coming in, and I feel like it helps you to make a decision. This could be, like I said, a job offer. This could be something regarding your living situation. But it does mean that you have new things waiting for you, and therefore current things that you might have to say goodbye to. Well, in order to take this job offer, I'm going to be moving across the country. I'll miss you, but this is what I've been waiting for. Well, I got accepted to that college or accepted to that program. It's what I've been looking for, but I know you might be a little bit upset because it means that I won't be your neighbor anymore. There's this change that impacts multiple areas of your life, but someone is happy for you. They're not going to stand in your way. They're not going to tell you that you should feel guilty about it. They're going to support you and say, go for it. This is going to work out great. I don't know. It sounds like if they made you a sandwich, it would be rather unsatisfying. Good luck, Tiana. Have a good one. We have Death in the reverse. King of Pentacles in the reverse. There's someone else here who has not been as successful, who has not been as devoted to their situation or recovering from a difficult time. I don't know if this is someone who's like comparing you to an ex, maybe someone that you co-parent with. Maybe this is you being compared to a sibling, but we have someone here who's like, you know, you probably could have done like this person over here and not been as focused, but you decided to put everything that you could into building this new life or starting something that would result in higher pay, while this other person has been a little bit stubborn. Whatever their connection is to you, I do think that there's a little bit of comparison. I don't feel like it's like unhealthy. It's somebody who's saying you could have done like the other people around you. You could have just said, well, that's what everyone else is doing. But instead you decided to like roll up your sleeves and say, okay, what do we need to do here? What can we do to like turn this around? So we have the Star in the reverse and the Ten of Pentacles in the reverse. Kind of like this person's admiring you because you didn't really have a role model, or you didn't have somebody providing you the guidance that might have helped you to expedite this change. With the Ten of Pentacles in the reverse, this could absolutely be a reference to a lack of money or dealing with debt, but it could also mean that you had some struggles with regards to your family connections. Are there people that want to be there for you or give you good advice? Are there people that, you know, inspire you to stay with whatever this determination is, right? Seven of Pentacles in the reverse, the Devil in the reverse, and the Eight of Pentacles. Whoever has not been doing the work here, I feel like by your focus and working to build this new chapter, you're making it so that you don't have to be around this person who is not interested in investing in their own personal growth or development, whether it's a roommate or a family member or a partner romantically. I feel like your moving up in the world means that you also then probably move away from this person. Hello, Ton. How are you doing? Hello, Robert. How's your day? Hello, J.E.E. I hope your day improves. Nine of Wands and the Five of Pentacles in the reverse, with the Six of Cups in the reverse. Yeah, I feel like this is you outgrowing your surroundings, or maybe even outgrowing some of your friends, focusing on things that are a little bit more geared towards where you want to be in 5 years or 10 years, while people around you are maybe getting a little bit distracted by drama or things that waste their time. So you're being like, I don't know, admired, congratulated. Maybe there's even a little bit of a celebration for you because you have been able to remain focused. You have been, you know, eyes on the prize kind of energy. Queen of Swords in the reverse and the Six of Pentacles in the reverse. The thing is, even though there is someone who is congratulating you or someone who is admiring and supportive of you, you will of course have someone on the other end of the other end of the spectrum who is making this a problem, maybe feeling bad about their own lack of progress, and therefore difficult to celebrate that you have not been struggling with those things, that you've actually been able to overcome similar problems to what they pretty much called impossible. Hello, Albert. How are you doing? What else do we have? TikTok, deadline, time running out. Irreconcilable differences, divorce, final, settlement, agreement, compromise. So this is looking more and more like we have X's, especially with the Queen of Swords in the reverse. We could be, now keep in mind this is a general reading, so there's going to be little variations. Take it how it resonates. But because we have this divorce and settlement and financial support, this does feel to me like there is a significant change in someone's financial situation because a relationship has ended. For some of you, that could be a family member that had been sending money to help you with things like education. But I think for the majority of you, this is, you know, we've got someone whose relationship status has impacted their finances. And I feel like you rolled up your sleeves and you were like, okay, let's get to work. I can handle this. I can pay the bills on my own. Whereas perhaps your ex has struggled to recover or struggled to adjust their budgeting in order to accommodate for that change. What's up, GP? How you doing? I hope you're having a good day. Hey, Ace, you're welcome to have your beliefs and talk about your beliefs. Just please make sure that if you're participating in the live chat that you're respectful of others' beliefs as well. So we've got the plugged card, tuned in, internet connected, projected, future, days, weeks, months, and crushed, sad, broken, feeling alone. So now we have somebody who previously felt like they had a strong connection to you, struggling financially and seeing you do well. And I feel like a supportive friend or family type is saying, don't let that person upset you. Don't let them make it seem like you're the reason everything's going wrong for them. You've been able to make things work because you've been focused on it, because you've been doing whatever you can. They haven't put the same effort in, and that's on them. That's not your responsibility. All right, let's see what else we have. This is the Nightmare Before Christmas. Oh, it's a party now. Hello, Key Controller. How we doing? I'm doing pretty well, thank you. It's nice because we got some warmer weather finally after a cold spell. Oh, thank you, Hannah. A general reading. I got you. With the sunglasses, GP. All right, what else do we have? We have Death in the reverse, the Magician. Sometimes endings are a little bit scary because you don't really know what that means for the next chapter. What do I have to leave behind? What can I take with me? How am I going to have to adjust? What routine is going to have to become no longer part of the routine? You stood up to this and said, okay, we're going to find a way to make it work. If I have to adjust my work schedule, or if I have to switch with, you know, Susan so that I can have a different setup, or if I have to sacrifice my gym membership, whatever, it's February anyway. There's someone here who's basically saying like, yes, things change, but I just like had to do whatever I could to make it work. And comparatively, there's someone here who has been kind of losing it, not really taking control of their life or their finances. Page of Potions or Page of Cups in the reverse, and the Ace of Candles or Ace of Wands. The Three of Candles or Three of Wands in the reverse. Yeah, so There's sadness here, and I do think that that has been a part of your experience over the last several months, but it hasn't stopped you from focusing on your goals. Yes, you've gone through some things. Yes, you've been disappointed or even felt betrayed, but it didn't, like, you didn't use it as a justification to give up on your goals or to, call in sick. Now, there are real reasons to call in sick or to struggle with motivation, but you found a way to deal with your healing and also stay focused on like ramping up your efforts around financial security or your job, right? Hello, Mary. How are you doing? I'm glad to hear that, GP. I hope you have some fun weekend plans. Oh, I'm sorry you feel that way. But hey, if you want to come back with a better attitude tomorrow, you are welcome. You might find that there's some pretty cool people in this live chat. Otherwise, I wish you well. So we have the moon in the reverse following that wheel of fortune. Yes, there's been some difficulty, but you realized that you could have some measure of control over your destiny. The other person was like, I can't help it. I don't have control over it. So the moon in the reverse is this other individual. What's going on with that? Why do we need to know? Why do we care? Nine of Presents or Nine of Pentacles and Strength. Because they're over here looking at you like, how did you make that work? How did you find the money that you needed? How did you work those extra hours? How did you, remain a positive influence on, your family? How is it that you're still making this work? They don't understand because it's been like impossible for them. Six of Cups. They're just stuck thinking about the past. Queen of Presents or Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. And they've been lying about their financial situation. We could obviously say this is lying to other people about what's going on with their finances, but I think this is more so saying this is someone who doesn't really want to face the truth themselves. I don't want to have any insight into that, or, if I know too much about it, then I'll feel like pressure. They're just kind of ignoring it. And that's part of the problem, right? It might have also been part of the reason why there's a relationship that ended. If they didn't want to face the reality of it or they couldn't communicate about those issues, that would probably make it pretty difficult to have, a sense of stability within that connection. Glad to hear it, GP. Yep, I wouldn't either. Hello, how's it going, Gar? If that's a birthday, would you mind deleting that? I will delete it for you. And please don't repeat your messages. Hello, Joaquin. How are you doing? Hello, Christina. I hope you're having a good day. Hello, Rachel. How are you? So we've got the Four of Potions or the Four of Cups and the World and the reverse. I feel like you're out here like it's a video game. Like, I'm going to get all the coins. I'm going to get all the bonuses. I'm not going to miss any of the opportunities that I have. And this other person is maybe being overly picky or selective, struggling to find the motivation to just like get things done. Maybe in part it's because you know how to set aside time for yourself so that you can recuperate and kind of recharge those batteries and then feel like you're ready to take on whatever you have that particular day. But this other individual, they've been struggling. It's probably your ex, but like I said, it could be someone else that you've been connected to in a non-romantic way. This is the Golden Lenormand. What else do we have? Oh, you lucky, lucky. What can I call you with it not being offensive? You're lucky because it's been a long time, my friends, since this card has been shown on this card or on this channel. I don't know why it's been hiding from us for so long. But we also have the clouds. So this feels to me like we've got somebody who is trying to minimize the problems that they're going through in their life because they don't want other people to judge them, especially if this is a breakup. It's like, I don't want to be seen as the loser in the relationship and that person as the winner. when that other person, the person that I'm no longer dating, is clearly having a really good year or a really good month. Now, if you know the channel, you know that when this card comes out, I have to tell a joke. So are you ready? The whip. No, no, not the whip. The whip. No, no, please, not the whip. The whip. No, no, please, anything but the whip. Anything? The whip. All right. I'm glad. It's been a while. It needed to happen. And we got some OGs in the live chat. So, so that helps, right? All right. So we also have the mountain number 21 and the ring number 25. So we've got someone here who feels like they had everything that they wanted and they kind of squandered it. And now things are more difficult for them financially, and you seem to be doing better financially. So they're wondering why they struggled so much with doing right by this relationship or this connection with you. It really does seem like it's a little bit of karma, right? Or a lot, where they realize, there's things that I miss. There's things that I maybe was not really being honest with myself about that would be difficult. So they're really faced with the reality of their decision or the reality of how things happened because they didn't really do right by this relationship. It has, hasn't it, Renee? It's been a long time. Hello, Oracle. How you doing? Yeah, exactly. I think it was you, Lucas. But I did also sage before this reading, so that might have helped too. Maybe the whip was just a little bit scared. We've got the Knight of Cups and the King of Wands. I feel like there's a really positive offer coming in for this Empress. For many of you, this is going to be pertaining to your finances. So you might have an inheritance you weren't expecting. You might have a promotion that is even better than you thought it would be. Or you might get, a really great standing in terms of your grades if you're graduating with a degree. This is something where it's like, wow, things are really going well. And a lot of this has to do with the fact that I'm not distracted by that toxic energy or that person that had been, kind of holding me back or making things more difficult, especially where it concerns your finances or the general stability. Because if they're making it difficult for you in a financial sense, then that's probably going to cause some anxiety and stress and problems in other areas, right? Oh, that's so sweet of you, Christina. Thank you. I hope you have a wonderful day. I mean, I know I say that anyways, but like extra. So look, this is beautiful energy because you've been able to reclaim whatever you were investing in that relationship and put it towards things that are important to you. Maybe you're writing a book. Maybe you're finally finishing off the education you started years ago. But there is this sense of completion and like moving on or graduating to a better chapter, a better life. And it's like someone wants you to feel guilty because theirs has been kind of demoted or is going backwards. So we have the Six of Swords in the reverse, the Four of Swords, and the Magician. You're coming through as the Magician. At the beginning, I think, did we have that as well? We had Justice, Page of Wands. I mean, you came out as the Empress at the very beginning. Oh yeah, we did have the Magician from the Nightmare Before Christmas deck. So you're taking this energy, even if it's negative energy being sent your way, you can just transmute it real quick. You can, oh gosh, what's that word? Alchemize it. You're able to take this healing time or this time to yourself and really make the most of it. So whoever is admiring you, this could be someone who's interested in you romantically. This could be someone who is a family member or a friend. It could be more than one person. It could be both of those things. But people are just kind of like thinking you're a class act, right? You went through this. It was difficult. But instead of being like petty or trying to, I don't know, obsess over it, you just collected your things, figured it out, and you're working towards something important to you. So good for you. High five. We've got the Four of Cups in the reverse. You didn't let a rejection or a difficult ending keep you from focusing on the things that you really wanted. And as a result, things are starting to pay off. So people are just kind of like, look at you. You really know what you're doing. Hello, Kim. How are you doing? Hello, Keeper. I'm going to delete that because I really don't want to have anything related to politics in my live chat. Please don't take that as you're not being welcome here in the live chat. Just have to make sure we follow those rules, okay? So we've got the Three of Pentacles and the Nine of Swords. I think this has to do with your work. I think you're going to get a job offer, a promotion, or maybe even a bonus, but it comes right as you're feeling like maybe a little extra stressed about, how am I going to pay taxes, or how am I going to pay this medical bill? How am I going to pay that credit card bill? There's a concern here and you work it out. Ace of Swords in the reverse. Seven of Cups in the reverse. I think because you were finally willing to be honest with yourself that you were dealing with someone who wasn't willing to tell you what was really going on or be honest about their finances with you. If that's not something that they're capable of doing, that makes it really difficult for you to be a supportive or helpful partner or even friend. Not that you need to be all up in your friend's financial business, but this seems to be one of those things where you were in a relationship with somebody who was maybe a little bit financially dependent upon you, and they didn't really want to be honest about the choices they were making to basically make it difficult to get out of that energy, and it impacted you. Hello, Randy. Hello, Third Eye. Hello, Monique. How we doing? I can always ask Monique. I would say most likely. Oh, I'm glad to hear that, Kim. Creativity is an excellent way to process those emotions. So we've got the Ten of Wands in the reverse, the Seven of Wands in the reverse, and the Eight of Pentacles. I'm telling you, there's something improving here with your work. Someone's taking notice of the effort that you've put in. Maybe you're working late, or maybe you're just really hitting a home run here. But you've gone from feeling like things aren't going very well to building something like a pretty respectable future, or recovering from this financial stress quite nicely. It's like you're landing a flip, right? All right, let's see what we get from the Path of Shadows. What else do we have? Yes. I could see that. Yeah, it happens, Kim. I feel that. Harpy. A creature of many guises, in storms I soar, amid virtues and vices, a reflection of life's score. So this is definitely coming through as a bit of karma for the person who's no longer able to rely on you, or ask you to solve their problems, ask you to pay their share of the bills. I do think that there's a little bit of guilt that you might be dealing with because you normally did help this person. And if they are unable to ask for that, you might be concerned about whether or not they're able to get the food they need and all of that. And I get it, you want to be able to be a reliable friend. You want to be compassionate. But at a certain point, we also have to remember that some individuals need a little bit of a nudge to help themselves. I trust you to have that intuition to figure that out, right? But you got to pay attention to that. And I feel like you did. That's why we have the Empress here. So intention, alchemy, and manifestation. I told you, you alchemize this energy. You've manifested in improvement in your financial sector and maybe also in love. We have the Skeleton card, a curse of bones, time, and dust, things that were never meant to last. So maybe you felt like you hung on to this relationship for longer than you should have. For some of you, this could be a breakup that was, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. And there's been time since then where you've been working on yourself and this ex of yours hasn't necessarily been doing the same. But there's a little bit of, like, someone's here comparing the two, right? People pleasing. I wonder how much of myself I've lost in others. The pieces that remain, no one can notice. Maybe you were in that relationship a little bit too long because you had a little bit of a habit of people pleasing in the past. I think you've been able to address that. I don't think you can be coming through as the Empress if you're still a doormat for people. And I say that having been a doormat before, okay, you guys? I'm not here to judge you. We all have to get to a place where we can better establish those boundaries or communicate those boundaries and not stick around in situations that show a lack of respect, right? Thank you for the flower, Rachel. Yes, thank you for liking and subscribing. Hello, Charles. How are you doing? I hope you're having a good day. What else? We have the procrastination card. So this is clearly about the, what was it? Seven of Pentacles in the reverse individual, the X. This is someone who has procrastinated on the things that they needed to do. The ticking of the clock distracts me from the fact that my worst enemy hides in my mind. They don't want to admit that they have control over the problems that plague their life. That's part of what led to the end of your relationship. And now things are pretty difficult for them to disguise because they don't have you to blame or they don't have really anyone else that they can point to, right? Hello, Unida. How are you doing today? Thank you for the tip. Daily, weekly advice. I got you. And hello, Gnostic. What's going on? Let's go with the Jack-o'-lantern tarot. And we'll start the personal questions after this deck, okay? I'm glad to hear that, Unida. I'm glad you are able to enjoy the wood stove now. That sounds good. So we've got the Queen of Pentacles, the Six of Pentacles, and the Chariot. Things take off quickly because you've been able to release a block or, move around an obstacle. So, don't be surprised when things take off quickly after a long wait. I thought I was doing the right things, then I realized I was applying at the wrong jobs, or I realized like maybe I needed to update my resume. There's things that you finally addressed or that you've been addressing along the way, and they're all adding up to a pretty significant increase or change for you. So endings aren't always a bad thing. This ending is about the financial difficulties that you have faced. You're getting good news. There's a sense that your new chapter or this new beginning after this breakup has been a productive one, right? And it's going to pay off. Hello, Blender. How are you doing? Hello, Matthew. I hope you're having a good day. So we have the King of Cups and the Two of Swords. I feel like this King of Cups is emotional maturity. This is saying that you have recognized that there's a difference between loving someone and, having that type of connection where you're able to stay in that relationship or feel good about being in that relationship. If someone's using you and they're not willing to be honest about what they're going through or at least make you feel like you're a part of the club, right? Like you're in the inner circle, then your reaction is, okay, then I've got to reclaim my energy. I'm going to move on and focus on the things that I need to. That's why you're seeing success. That's why there's change happening for you. Just keep in mind that someone's going to try to make you feel guilty because they haven't done so well since the end of your relationship. This is someone who may be reaching out to see how you're doing, but it's really because they regret how they treated you and they see how well you've been doing since that ending. All right, let's see what we've got for personal questions. We've got Hannah up first and then Unida. All right, so what do we have for Hannah, please? What does Hannah need to know? We have the Two of Pentacles, Two of Swords, a decision being made. Eight of Cups. Is it time to leave? Is it time to walk away? Is it time to reject this? Four of Cups. I mean, this seems to be saying, yeah, it's time to get a move on. Whether this is, you know, a job situation or romantic situation, it seems like this reading might actually be pretty on point for you. With the Empress coming out. We have the Three of Pentacles, the King of Swords, and the Four of Swords in the reverse. There's someone here who's unwilling to make a change. They're stubborn, or they feel like they're right when they're not. So this is like, yeah, I think you've pretty much assessed the situation correctly. If this is something that's a requirement for you, let's just say basic respect when they talk to you, and they're not willing to do that, then your assessment is, okay, well, then I don't know if we really have anything else to say to each other. It just kind of seems to me like you're dealing with someone who's intentionally difficult. I feel like you've done what you could, asked the questions or started the conversations, been honest about what you need or what you're thinking. So it looks to me like you can feel pretty good about how you've handled the situation, and things will recover in their own way. So Four of Pentacles, Moon in the reverse. When this person shows you who they really are, it's best to minimize the amount of words or how much conversation you have, because they want to use these words against you. So be cautious, and I'm sending you protective energy. Let's see what we've got for United. We've got the daily, weekly advice. What does United need to know, please? You're so welcome, Hannah. What does United need to know for today or for the week? Hanged Man, Nine of Wands, Hierophant in the reverse, and the Ten of Swords in the reverse. There's someone who is defensive here, United, and the reason that they're so defensive, I feel like you notice that it's uncharacteristic, is because they did break a rule or they did do something that is unlike them. And it's like, I feel like I can just kind of say, well, of course I didn't do that, you know? I could never do that. Well, maybe they did do it. Career? Of course. Thank you, Hannah. So just be cautious. You know, this feels like you're trying to figure out, like, should I believe or trust this person? Because I feel like I'm looking at the facts, they're right in front of me, and you're telling me that they're wrong. Two of Cups. Because I do feel like this is somebody that you consider a friend or somebody that you feel like you should be able to trust, but they didn't do something, or they're like exaggerating, like trying to make it sound better. Like, you believe it? Is that good enough? How'd I do? Am I like an actor now? So be cautious. I think your intuition is like already kind of sounding the alarm as it is. But it's because someone doesn't really want to admit that they didn't like follow their own rules or do what was expected of them. All right. Hey, Aqua Beauty, how are we doing today? So let's see what we've got for Hannah regarding career. What does Hannah need to know regarding career, please? What does Hannah need to know? Eight of Swords in the reverse. King of Wands. Temperance. Three of Pentacles. Nine of Wands. I'm smiling because that Nine of Wands tried to come out earlier, like 10 seconds earlier, and it did come out eventually. So this is like, okay, you might be losing patience or feeling like, you know, things need to happen faster. Because I feel like you, this is like watching a garage door go open and you're like, okay, so like we can go, but then nothing happens. Maybe a better analogy would be like those videos where they're, you know, taking some zoo animal like a lion and releasing them into some sanctuary land. And because it's the first time they've seen grass, they're like, "Ooh, what do I do with this?" There's something here where it's like, I feel like I can go, but I don't really know what I'm doing. Maybe it's a new job, first day. But the Temperance card tells me it's going to be fabulous. It's going to be good. Just keep the positive mindset. I feel like this is going to be a step in the right direction. Maybe this is a new person who's starting to work like a boss. But there's a shift here and it's good. Why do we have the Devil? So this could be because you have been very focused or even a little bit obsessive on a particular path or a particular thing happening for your career. And it's paying off. Again, this seems to be kind of tied to the main reading, right? The thing is, with the Three of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse, you do have to be very cautious about who you associate with regards to that workplace. I feel like there's someone in particular who's like, is there someone in particular that she needs to avoid with regards to professional contacts? Yeah, there's someone here who is like persona non grata, or they would make things difficult for you, or it's like they want to advise you the wrong way, so you do something to kind of like look silly. So just be cautious. All right. Hello, Lee. How are you doing? Thank you for the tip. Why is the school administrator so rude to me? For some reason, she angry. Skin of X is extremely rude. Okay. Why is the... I'm so sorry you're going through that, by the way. Why is the school administrator so rude to Lee? Why is the school administrator so rude to Lee? Knight of Swords in the reverse. Eight of Cups in the reverse. Page of Swords. Do you guys see that? I'm just like wearing the card. Judgment and the Knight of Cups in the reverse. This is someone who judges you. They feel like the school administrator feels like they know something about you. Is this like I'm looking down at my nose because of a decision you made? No. Is this because of something the ex has said? No. I feel like this is just somebody who's kind of judgy of everyone. Is there like a particular dislike for Lee? So this is someone who's kind of like a jerk to a lot of people. But I feel like in particular, this is someone who's rude to you because there's something they disagree with. What do they disagree with? Temperance. And the Four of Pentacles. I feel like this is someone who blames you for some of the issues that happens for your daughter. Seven of Swords in the reverse. And questions whether or not you're honest. I do also feel like this is someone who might actually kind of reveal what the problem is or what they really have judged you for. Oh, you're so welcome, Hannah. Thank you. Hello to Mike. Hello, Rick. How we doing? So is this going to change? Is the school administrator going to get over it? No. Always going to be rude. Okay. I do think this is just like multiple issues in one. This is an unhappy person who likes to take out their frustrations on others. And then there's something that, you know, the school minister doesn't like about you. Three of Swords and the Devil. This is someone who's been hurt. This is someone who feels betrayed. And it does seem to be a little bit easier to deal with that or like feel like they're okay if they're able to judge other people. So I wouldn't be too concerned about it. I realize it's going to impact you, but it's not saying that there's a lot that you can do here to change it. It's just how this person decides they want to interact with you. Hello, is it Doral? How are you doing? All right, I'm going to leave it there. I love you all. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the subscribes. Thank you for hyping if you're able to, and for checking out my candles on Etsy, and I'll see you on the next reading. Toodles.